The day my son told me to go back home, I was standing on his porch with a suitcase in my hand and a smile on my face. I hadn't told him I was coming. I bought a ticket, got on a plane, and flew across 2 states with one small bag and a heart full of hope. I was sure he'd open the door, shout "Mom," and pull me into a hug. Instead, he opened the door, looked at me like I was a problem on his doorstep, and said, "Who told you to come? Go back." I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I walked away, checked into a cheap hotel, and made one decision that changed everything. By the next morning, my phone showed 72 missed calls from my son. Before I tell you what I did, I'm really glad you're here with me. Please tap the like button and listen to my whole story. And tell me in the comments what city you're watching from. Want to see how far this grandmother's story travels? For 28 years, I thought I knew exactly what it meant to be a mother. I raised my boy Adrian in a tiny apartment in Phoenix, Arizona. I worked night shifts at a diner and cleaned offices in the early mornings so he could stay in school, wear decent clothes, and never feel how broke we really were. I was the woman in the metal bleachers at every game, wrapped in a thin jacket, shaking the same old blue pom-pom. I never missed a single soccer match, not one. When he got his first real job in Seattle, doing computer work I couldn't even pronounce, I felt like every tired morning had finally been worth it. When he married Lauren 4 years ago, a quiet, neat young woman with careful smile, hugged her like the daughter I never had, and told her, "Welcome to the family." Then came my grandbabies, Lily, now 4, Noah, just turned 1. The first time I held each of them, I thought, this is it. This is the best part of my life. I visited twice a year, never more, always careful. I'd call weeks ahead and ask, which dates work for you? I bought gifts I couldn't really afford. When I was there, I washed dishes, did laundry, cooked, and kept my opinions to myself. I left early, before anyone had to hint it was time to go. I promised myself I would never be that clingy, pushy mother-in-law everyone complains about. Lauren was always polite. She smiled. She thanked me. She poured tea. But around all that politeness, there was something cold. A distance, like there was a glass wall between us and she was already on the other side. Her eyes slid over me like I was temporary, a guest, never quite family. I told myself I was imagining it. She was young, 2 kids, small house, husband working late, of course she was tired. And Adrian looked happy. I held on to that. The last time I held my grandchildren was 7 months ago. After that visit, every time I tried to plan another trip, there was a new reason why it couldn't happen. The kids are sick. We're fixing the house. My parents already booked that weekend. Always an excuse. Always later. Never now. Our video calls changed, too. They used to be long and warm. Lily would show me her drawings and spin in little dresses. Adrian would cook while we talked. The phone propped against a sugar jar, telling me about his projects and bills and normal things. Then the call started shrinking. 10 minutes. 5. 2. Mom, Noah's fussy. Lily's having a meltdown. We've got to run. We'll call you later. Later almost never came. I started waking up around 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, feeling that tight, heavy knot in my stomach, the one only a parent understands. Something is wrong, it whispered. You just don't know what yet. I tried to be reasonable. People get busy. Kids get sick. Life is hard. But what kind of grandmother goes 7 months without kissing her grandbabies' cheeks, without feeling their small arms around her neck? I told myself I was overreacting. The knot in my stomach told me I wasn't. So, I did something I had never done before. I broke my own rule. I didn't call ahead. I didn't ask permission. I took what little savings I had, bought a ticket from Phoenix to Seattle, and decided I would just show up. I told myself it was a fun surprise. Deep down, I knew it wasn't about fun. I needed to know if I still existed in my son's life. I landed on a gray Wednesday afternoon. The taxi ride from the airport felt longer than the flight. When we turned onto Adrian's street, my hands started to shake. Their house was small but neat white trim. Blue front door, a plastic slide in the yard. I could picture Lily flying down that slide, Noah trying to follow on unsteady legs. I paid the driver, took a deep breath, picked up my suitcase, and walked up the path. You're his mother, I told myself. You're allowed to be here. As I got closer, I heard it laughter inside. High, bright, unmistakably Lily. Maybe Noah's baby squeals too. The sound wrapped around my heart, and for a moment, everything felt right again. I pressed the doorbell. The laughter cut off like someone had hit a switch. Footsteps crossed the floor. Adrian's voice came through the door, muffled. Did you order something? Lauren answered, but I couldn't hear her words. The lock clicked. The door opened. Adrian stood there in a t-shirt and sweatpants, a dish towel over his shoulder. For half a second, surprise flashed in his eyes. Then it disappeared. His face shut down. Mom, he said, but it sounded more like a problem than a greeting. What are you doing here? I came to see you, I said, forcing a smile. To surprise you. I missed you. I missed the kids. His jaw tightened. You can't just show up like this. Who invited you? Over his shoulder, a small curly-haired head peeked around the hallway corner. Lily. Her eyes went wide. Grandma, she whispered, already stepping forward. Lauren appeared, scooped her up, and turned her away from the door. Her expression stayed perfectly blank, like she was closing a curtain. Adrian, I said quietly, I'm your mother. I shouldn't need an invitation to see my grandchildren. Yes, you should, he replied. He still didn't move aside. This isn't a good time. When is a good time? The words came out sharper than I meant. I've been trying to visit for months. We've been busy, Lauren called, her voice sweet and hard at the same time. Tell her we'll call when things calm down. I looked at my son, the boy I'd raised alone after his father left. The man I'd sacrificed everything for, and I didn't recognize him. Mom, he said, stepping forward, so I had to step back onto the porch. Go home, we'll talk another time. I flew all this way, I whispered. I didn't ask you to, he said. Just go back to Phoenix. Then he said the sentence that would replay in my mind night after night. Who invited you? Just leave. He didn't slam the door. He closed it slowly, gently, like nothing important was happening at all. I stood on that quiet porch with my suitcase at my feet, and birds singing in the trees, and felt something inside me go still. For the first time in my life, I felt completely unwanted. I didn't ring again. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I picked up my bag, walked down the steps, and called a taxi. But I didn't tell the driver to go back to the airport. Not yet. I asked him to drop me at a small nearby hotel. I checked into a room that smelled like cleaning spray and old carpet, sat on the edge of the bed, and stared at my silent phone. Something was very, very wrong, and I was going to find out what it was. That night, I barely slept. I lay on that hard hotel mattress, staring at the ceiling, replaying every second on that porch, the sound of his voice, the way he looked right through me, the door closing. At some point, one must have drifted off, because when I opened my eyes again, the room was dark and my phone was buzzing on the nightstand. I reached for it. For a moment, I thought maybe it had all been a bad dream. Then the screen lit up. Asterisk, asterisk, 72 missed calls. Asterisk, asterisk, all from the same name. Asterisk, asterisk, Adrian. Asterisk, asterisk. Before I could even process that, call number 73 started ringing. I watched his name flash on the screen. My thumb hovered over answer. Then I set the phone down, face down, and let it buzz until it stopped. My heart was pounding. Last night I had been someone to shove off a porch. Now suddenly, I was urgent, important, emergency level important. I opened the voicemail app. The first message was from just after midnight. Greater than, Mom, where are you? Call me back, okay? His voice was tight, not soft, not caring, just uneasy. Second message, this isn't funny. You need to tell us where you're staying. Third, Mom, call me back right now. Lauren is really worried. Worried. Fourth, fifth, sixth, we're sorry about before. Just come back. The kids want to see you. You can't just disappear like this. Mom, you're scaring us. Then Lauren's voice showed up, smooth as cream. Greater than, Hi, Helen, sweetheart. We overreacted. Adrian has been so stressed with work. Please call us back. We want to fix this. I listened to about 10, and then I stopped. Not once did anyone say, Are you safe? Not once, Are you okay? Not once, I'm sorry for what I said on the porch. Every single message was about their fear. Their stress. Their loss of control. Last night, I was someone they didn't want. This morning, I was something they'd lost track of. And that scared them. What? What were they so afraid I might do, now that I wasn't standing where they'd put me? I opened my old laptop and started typing. Grandparent cut off from grandkids. Daughter-in-law controlling son. Can't see grandchildren, what to do? I fell down a rabbit hole of stories. Grandmothers and grandfathers pushed out slowly. First, fewer visits. Then excuses. Then silence. One phrase kept appearing. Grandparent alienation. I found a website called Grandparents for Justice, and for almost 4 hours, I read. Every story sounded like a variation of my own. Different cities. Different names. Same pattern. First, the slow distancing. Then, the narrative. She's difficult. She's critical. She crosses boundaries. Finally, the door closes. Usually, with one person, daughter-in-law or son-in-law keen as gatekeeper. I sat back in my chair. In our story, that gatekeeper was very clearly Lauren. I thought about the last 3 years. How she always replied to texts meant for Adrian. How she answered questions I asked him. How she'd end video calls the second Lily got excited to show me something. How Adrian's messages had started sounding like someone writing to a distant relative instead of a mother. This wasn't random. This was a pattern. My phone buzzed with a new text. Adrian. Mom, you're scaring us. Please just tell me you're okay. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I wrote, I'm fine. I'll call when I'm ready. I hit send. Then I blocked his number. The silence that followed was strange, terrifying, but also powerful. For the first time in a long time, no one could instantly reach me and tell me what to feel. I got up, found a pen and a small notepad from my purse, and sat back on the bed. If I was going to fight this, I wasn't going to rely on memory. I opened my text threads, my photo albums, my old emails, and started writing everything down. Dates of visits. Reasons visits were canceled. How many video calls per month. Exact wording of certain messages. Spring 2022, weekly video calls. Summer 2022, every 2 weeks, often cut short. End of 2022, once a month, always we've got to run. April 2023, Lily saying, Grandma, when are you coming? Lauren's hand appearing in front of the camera. Lily, say bye. Grandma has to go. Then, 7 solid months of excuses. My notepad started to fill. I wasn't going crazy. This was real. On the 3rd day in that little hotel room, I searched specifically. Grandparent rights, Washington State. That's when I found it. Rivera and Cole Family Law, Advocates for Grandparents. I clicked. They had an entire section about grandparents being cut off, visitation, petitions, family dynamics. It didn't promise miracles, but it did say this: if you had a meaningful relationship with your grandchildren, greater than, and were suddenly and unreasonably cut off, greater than, you may have options. I stared at their phone number. Then I dialed. Rivera and Cole Family Law, how may I direct your call? A calm voice said. I need to talk to someone about seeing my grandchildren, I said. They've been cut off from me. Of course, she answered gently. May I have your name? Helen Parker. And this is very important. We set a meeting for the next morning. The office was in a glass building downtown. I arrived 20 minutes early, wearing the same navy jacket I'd worn to Adrian's wedding. Life has a sense of humor. Alan Rivera met me in the waiting room, a man in his 50s, with gray at his temples and kind, sharp eyes. He shook my hand, led me into his office, and gestured toward a chair. Tell me everything, he said. So I did. I told him about raising Adrian alone, about Lauren's polite distance eyes, about the shrinking video calls, about the excuses, about the porch, about the 72 missed calls when I blocked my number. I showed him my notebook, my screenshots, my list of dates. He flipped through the pages slowly, then leaned back. Mrs. Parker, he said, I'll be honest with you. Grandparent cases are not easy. You have to prove you had a real, ongoing relationship with the children, and that it's in their best interest to maintain that relationship. I was there when Lily was born, I said. I stayed for 2 weeks to help. I was there when Noah came home from the hospital. I've been at every birthday until they stopped inviting me. I have photos, videos, messages. He nodded. That all helps, he said. Here's what stands out to me. You were involved, then slowly pushed away, then suddenly cut off. And the moment you stopped playing along, they panicked. He tapped the notebook. That kind of panic usually isn't about love, he said. It's about control. So what can I do? I asked. First, he said, we send a formal letter requesting regular, reasonable visits. Not demanding full weekends. Just something like 2 visits a month, in a neutral place. If they say no or ignore it, then we file a petition with the court. He paused. But you need to be ready. Your daughter-in-law will likely paint you as unstable, difficult, or controlling. She will try to rewrite the story so you are the problem. He looked me straight in the eye. Are you ready for that? I saw Lily's little face in my mind, peeking around the hallway corner. I heard the small, hopeful whisper, Grandma? Yes, I said, I'm ready. The letter went out by certified mail 5 days later. By then, I had moved from the slightly decent hotel to a cheaper one on the edge of town. I wasn't going back to Phoenix until I knew I'd done everything I could. 3 days after the letter was delivered, my new email chimed. Subject, we need to talk. It was from an address I didn't recognize. But the name was familiar. Adrian. He must have gotten my new email from an old friend. Or guessed until one worked. Greater than, Mom, I don't know what you're trying to pull. Greater than, but you need to stop. Lauren is really upset. You're tearing this family apart. Greater than, if you want to see the kids. Greater than, all you have to do is apologize and visit like a normal person. Greater than, this legal threat is insane. Are you okay mentally? I read it 4 times. Every sentence did the same thing. Asterisk, you're the problem. Asterisk, you're crazy. Asterisk, you're breaking the family. Asterisk, if you just behave, we'll allow you some crumbs. I forwarded the email to Alan. His reply came in minutes. Excellent evidence. Do not respond. Save everything. That night, my phone started buzzing with messages from unknown numbers. When I opened them, my stomach turned. Photos of me walking into my hotel. Photos of me buying coffee. A blurry shot of me crossing the street. One message said, "We know where you are. My hands shook as I called the front desk. They sent security, who told me to call the police. A tired officer came, took a report, and shrugged. "Ma'am, these are public places," he said. "Taking pictures isn't a crime. If they threaten you directly, you can file for a protection order. Until then, there's not much we can do." After he left, I sat on the bed and realized this wasn't just about keeping me away from my grandkids. This was about intimidation. About making me back down. My phone rang again. Blocked number. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Helen." Lauren's voice. The sweetness was gone. "We need to talk." Woman to woman. "I have nothing to say to you," I replied. "You're making a big mistake," she said. "Adrian doesn't want you in our lives. He told me you've always been controlling, always critical. He's finally free." "If he's so free," I said, "why are you the one calling me?" There was a pause. "You're using my children as weapons," she snapped. "But if you drop this nonsense, I'm willing to let you see them sometimes. Under our rules. On our terms. I'm not a stray dog you can leave outside and feed occasionally," I said quietly. "I'm their grandmother. You're a bitter old woman who can't accept she's not needed anymore." She spat. "You think a judge is going to give you rights over their parents? We'll see about that." She hung up. I sat there, shaking. Then grabbed my notebook and wrote down every word I could remember: time, date, exact phrases. Then I called Alan and read it to him. "She's scared," he said. "That's good for our case. Keep writing everything down." Over the next few days, I reached out to anyone who had seen me with the kids. Adrian's old neighbor who'd watched Lily and me chalk hopscotch on the sidewalk. A waitress at a diner in Phoenix who had met Lily when they visited. An old friend of Adrian's who was at Noah's baby shower and saw Lauren snap at me for holding him wrong. I asked each one if they'd be willing to write a short statement about what they'd seen. That I was involved, loving, and suddenly gone. Almost all of them said yes. Alan gathered everything into a file. "We have a real case now," he told me at our next meeting. "A strong one. But be ready. Once we actually file this petition, they're going to attack harder." "I'm ready," I said. My voice shook a little. My hands didn't. We filed the petition on a Monday morning. By Tuesday night, the explosion hit. The hotel room phone rang at 8:17 p.m. They'd found where I was staying. I didn't ask how. I picked up. "What is wrong with you?" Adrian's voice roared through the receiver. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" I held the phone away from my ear. "We have to hire a lawyer now," he shouted. "Do you know how much that costs? Do you know how embarrassing this is? You're actually suing your own family for the right to see kids who have two perfectly good parents." "I wouldn't be in court," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "if you hadn't shut me out for 7 months. Because you're controlling," he yelled. "Because you always criticize Lauren. Because every time you visit, you go against our parenting." "When have I ever done that?" I asked. "Give me one real example." "You told Lily that 4 hours of TV was too much. You told Lauren she was feeding Noah wrong. You questioned our rules every time you came." I closed my eyes. None of that was true. Not the way he said it. Maybe I'd mentioned once that Lily looked tired after a long cartoon binge. Maybe I'd asked, "Is that food okay for him yet?" Normal grandma things. Not attacks. But Lauren had been whispering in his ear for years. And he'd believed her. "Adrian," I said quietly, "in the last year, has Lauren ever let us talk alone? Just you and me?" Without her listening, silence. "That's what I thought," I said. "You're making her the bad guy," he snapped. "She's my wife. She's protecting us." "From what?" I asked. "From your own mother." His breathing got louder. "Stay away from us," he said. "Drop this lawsuit. Or, I swear, even if you win, I'll make sure you never see these kids again." The line went dead. My hands shook so badly, I almost dropped the phone. Then I took a breath. picked up my pen, and wrote down everything he'd just said word for word. A few days later, there was another envelope under my hotel door. Thick, expensive paper. Elegant handwriting. From Lauren, greater than Helen, I'm writing as one mother to another. I know you believe I've turned Adrian against you, greater than, but that isn't true. He chose distance because your behavior has been hurtful. I've tried to be patient, greater than, but you keep crossing boundaries, greater than. Still, I'm willing to offer a compromise. If you drop this lawsuit, greater than, we will allow you supervised visits. Once every 3 months. For 3 hours. In our home. If you continue down this path, greater than, we will have no choice, greater than, but to share information about your past, greater than, that could damage your case, including Adrian's concerns about your mental state, greater than, your drinking, greater than, and your behavior when he was young. I don't want to do this, but you're leaving us no choice. Think carefully, greater than, what matters more, greater than, your pride or your grandchildren. Lauren. I felt my face heat as I read. Mental state. I saw a counselor 30 years ago after my husband left. Drinking. I have a glass of wine on New Year's Eve, maybe at Christmas. But she wasn't writing the truth. She was writing weapons. I photographed the letter and sent it to Alan. His reply. She's desperate. This helps us. Keep the original somewhere safe. That was the night I realized something else. I wasn't the only one living this nightmare. I went back to the Grandparents for Justice site and found a listing for an in-person group that met at a community center on Sundays. I almost didn't go. Some stubborn part of me whispered, *, you're strong enough alone. You don't need anyone, *. But sitting alone in a hotel room with threats in my inbox and photos in my phone, I finally admitted I wasn't strong enough alone. So I went. There were about 15 of us sitting in a circle of metal chairs. Women and men. Gray hair, white hair, dyed hair. Face lines that looked like roads life had carved. One woman, Marjorie, spoke first. She had 1 supervised visits every other weekend. The hardest part isn't the hearing, she said. It's staying sane when they call you crazy. My daughter-in-law told the judge, I was emotionally unstable because I cried when they moved away. Apparently grandmothers aren't allowed to have emotions. Heads nodded. An older man named George spoke next. My son stopped talking to me after his wife decided I was dangerous, he said quietly. Why? Because I gave my granddaughter a bath when she'd covered herself in paint. 8 years later, they're still twisting that story. I haven't seen her since she was 3. She's 11 now. My chest ached. These were not monsters. They were not villains. They were ordinary people who loved their grandchildren and had been cut off by lies and control. When it was my turn, I told them everything. The surprise visit. The closed door. The 72 calls. The lawyer. The threats. The letter. When I finished, Marjorie reached over and squeezed my hand. You're doing the right thing, she said. They count on us giving up. Don't. After the meeting, a few of them invited me to lunch. We sat in a cheap restaurant, sharing stories and small pieces of hope. They're going to try to break you before court. A woman named Susan warned. They'll make sweet offers and then snatch them away. They'll say you're crazy so many times. You'll start to wonder if they're right. How do you survive that? I asked. You remember who you're doing this for, Marjorie said. Not your son. Not your daughter. For those kids. So that one day, when they're grown and ask, where was Grandma? You can say, I never stopped fighting to be there. That night back in my hotel room, I took out another piece of paper and wrote a letter. This one wasn't to a lawyer, or to Adrian, or to Lauren. It was to Lily and Noah. I told them about the day they were born, about Lily's tiny fingers wrapped around my thumb, About Noah's first sleepy smile. I told them how much I loved them. How I never chose to disappear. How I fought. Even when it hurt. I sealed the letter and put it in the room safe. Maybe they'd read it one day. Maybe they wouldn't. But I needed that letter to exist. Proof for them. And for me. That I never just walked away. The hearing was set for a Thursday morning in late December, one of those gray Seattle days where the sky feels heavy enough to touch. I arrived at the courthouse with Alan Rivera at 9 o'clock sharp. I wore a soft blue dress and the same pearl necklace Adrian had given me years ago, back when he still called me twice a week, just to talk. Adrian and Lauren were already seated on the opposite side of the courtroom. Lauren wore a pale yellow sweater and a face arranged into perfect innocence. Adrian kept his eyes down. He didn't look at me once. Their attorney, Ms. Chen, looked polished, confident, and ready for battle. At 9:15, Judge Evelyn Mason walked in. A woman in her late 60s, steel gray hair tied back, sharp eyes that missed nothing. She took her seat, glanced at the paperwork, and spoke. "This is a petition for grandparent visitation," she began. "Mrs. Parker, you claim you've been denied access to your grandchildren without legitimate cause. Mr. and Mrs. Parker, you oppose this petition. Let's proceed." Alan stood first. "Your Honor, we intend to show that Mrs. Parker had a meaningful, loving, and consistent relationship with her grandchildren. A relationship that was abruptly severed without justification." He lifted a folder thick with statements. "We have 15 witnesses." Ms. Chen rose smoothly. "Your Honor, we will show that Mrs. Parker has a history of overstepping boundaries, creating tension and emotional discomfort for the mother. The parents acted responsibly in limiting interactions that were harmful." The judge nodded. "Very well. Call your first witness." The testimonies. Alan called Marjorie, the grandmother from my support group. She spoke calmly. "I saw Helen with her granddaughter at a playground 4 years ago. The affection was obvious. The patience too." Ms. Chen approached. "Ms. Harper, you met Mrs. Parker once. How could one brief encounter qualify you to judge her current relationship?" Marjorie didn't blink. "I know love when I see it." Next came Robert, Adrian's high school friend. He sat up straight. Before Adrian married Lauren, he was social, connected. He drifted from everyone after the wedding. "Objection," Ms. Chen snapped. "Speculation. Stick to facts, Mr. Quinn," the judge said. "Fact," Robert continued. "Adrian used to call me weekly. Fact, after marrying Lauren, he stopped. Fact, Lauren told him his old friends were holding him back." The judge wrote something down. Then, Alan called me. My turn on the stand. I took a breath and sat in the witness chair. Alan approached gently. "Mrs. Parker, please describe your involvement in your grandchildren's lives before contact stopped." I spoke clearly. "I was there for both births. I stayed with them. I babysat. I celebrated every birthday until the invitations stopped. I video called weekly until the calls were cut shorter and shorter. And the day you visited unannounced," Alan asked. "I knocked on the door. My son told me to leave. He refused to let me see the children." He nodded. "Have you ever gone against their parenting rules?" "No. I respected their decisions. I only offered help when asked." Ms. Chen stood, her posture stiff. "Mrs. Parker, you admit you arrived without notice." "Yes. For the first time ever. And after being asked to leave, instead of respecting their request, you stayed in Seattle, hired a lawyer, and initiated legal action against your own son." "I stayed," I said, "because something was wrong. A mother knows." Ms. Chen's eyebrows lifted. "A mother knows," she repeated, voice dripping sarcasm. "So you made assumptions based on a feeling." "I made decisions based on a pattern," I said firmly. Her smile tightened. "Mrs. Parker, have you ever been treated for mental health issues?" My stomach dropped. "I saw a counselor 30 years ago after my divorce." A simple yes or no, she pressed. Yes?
But
And you drink alcohol? Socially. Like most adults. How many drinks per week? Alan shot up. This is irrelevant. It speaks to stability, Ms. Chen argued. Judge Mason held up a hand. I'll allow it. But tread carefully. I have 1 drink a week, at most, I said. But you were treated for emotional instability. Ms. Chen pushed. I straightened. No. I sought counseling. That's called being human. She looked irritated. No further questions. Lauren takes the stand. Lauren stepped up, clutching a tissue she didn't actually use. She spoke in the softest voice I'd ever heard from her. Helen always made me feel inadequate, she said. She criticized how I fed Noah, how I disciplined Lily. Every visit left me anxious. Alan stood. Mrs. Parker, can you give specific examples? Exact dates. Exact words. Lauren blinked rapidly. It was 3 years ago. I don't remember the exact words. But you remember feeling judged. Yes, but not what was actually said. Her calm faltered. She knows what she did. Alan didn't press. He didn't need to. Mrs. Parker, he said instead, you called Helen 72 times the night she didn't return home. Why? I was worried, she said quickly. Worried enough to call 72 times, Alan said. But not enough to call the police. Lauren froze. Well, we thought she'd come back. You expected her to return, Alan said gently. Because you were worried about losing control of the situation? Objection. Ms. Chen shouted. Overruled, the judge said quietly. Lauren's face turned red. She's manipulating the court. She cried. She's trying to steal my family. Judge Mason raised a brow. Your family, she repeated. Not your children's family. Your family. Lauren swallowed. That's not what I meant. It's exactly what you meant, Judge Mason said. The judge's turning point. Judge Mason set down her pen slowly. I've presided over family court for 19 years, she said. I've seen many legitimate boundary issues, and I've seen many cases that involve something more troubling. Control, isolation, manipulation. Lauren stiffened. Mrs. Parker, the judge continued. You said you freed your husband from his mother. That language concerns me. Adrian shifted uncomfortably. And Mr. Parker, the judge added. You have not looked at your mother once during this hearing. Why? Adrian finally looked up at the judge, not at me. I don't know. Whose decision was it to stop contact? The judge asked. Adrian hesitated. We decided together. Did you? She asked quietly. Or did you agree because it was easier than disagreeing? Lauren's hand shot out and grabbed his arm. Don't answer that, she whispered fiercely. Judge Mason's lips thinned. Remove your hand from your husband's arm, she said. Lauren froze, then slowly let go. Alan's final request. Alan stood. Your Honor, we are not asking for drastic measures. We're asking for what should have existed all along. Access to a loving grandmother, 2 supervised visits a month, 5 hours each, in a neutral space. The courtroom fell silent. Judge Mason looked down at her notes for a long time. Then she spoke. The ruling? Here is my decision, she said clearly. Mrs. Helen Parker is granted visitation with her grandchildren, Lily and Noah Parker. Lauren gasped. Visits will occur twice per month. 7 hours each. At a mutually agreed upon neutral location, she continued. Supervision will be provided for the first 4 months. By a neutral third-party professional. Not Mrs. Lauren Parker. Lauren's jaw dropped. Ms. Chen stood. Your Honor, we strongly object. Your objection is noted, Judge Mason said. And denied? Furthermore, the parents are ordered to attend family counseling. Mrs. Parker is invited to attend if she chooses. Lauren looked like she might faint. Judge Mason turned to me. Mrs. Parker, I am granting this petition. But hear me clearly. Do not use these visits to undermine the parents. Do not speak ill of them to the children. Show them only love. I understand, I said softly. Then the judge looked at Adrian and Lauren. As for you too, if you attempt to interfere with these visits, there will be consequences, including contempt charges. Her gavel struck the desk. Court adjourned. Aftermath? Lauren stormed out of the courtroom, dragging her purse behind her. Ms. Chen hurried after her. Adrian lingered. As he walked past me, he slowed. Mom, he whispered. Just one word. But it was the first word he'd said to me in months, without Lauren feeding him the script. Then Lauren's voice echoed from the hallway. Adrian, let's go. He stiffened and walked away. Alan touched my shoulder gently. You won, he said. I watched my son disappear through the doors. I won, I whispered. But the war isn't over. No, Alan said. But you've won something more important than a court ruling. What's that? A chance. The first court-ordered visit was scheduled for the following Saturday. Despite everything, the threats, the courtroom stares, the years of silence, I felt something inside me I hadn't felt in months. Hope. I arrived early at the *** Harborview Community Center, ***, the one the court assigned. It had bright windows, a fenced playground, and a room filled with toys that smelled like disinfectant and crayons. The court-appointed supervisor, Rosa, greeted me with a warm smile. Take your time, she said gently. Kids may be shy at first. Let them lead. My hands were shaking a little. Not from fear. From the weight of finally getting back something I'd lost. Adrian's car pulled up right at noon. Lauren stayed in the driver's seat, staring straight ahead, hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly her knuckles were white. Adrian got out slowly. He unbuckled Lily first. Then he lifted baby Noah from his seat. Lily hesitated halfway across the parking lot. Her tiny hand wrapped tightly around her father's fingers. Then she saw me. Grandma, she whispered. Her eyes lit up, then dimmed. As she glanced back at the car where Lauren sat, even at 4, she had learned to check for permission before feeling happy. I knelt and opened my arms. Hi, sweetheart, I said softly. I missed you so much. That tiny hesitation lasted only a second. Then she ran. She threw herself into my arms with the kind of force only a little child can. Unfiltered love. Her warm face pressed into my shoulder. You're not sick anymore, she said. Mommy said you were sick. Sick, I repeated carefully. Of course. But I'm all better now. I pulled out the children's book we used to read together. A story about grandmothers who live far away but always love close. Her eyes widened. You brought our book. For you and Noah, I smiled. The supervisor nodded. Go ahead. Your time starts now. For 7 hours, I had my grandchildren back. We built block towers. We slid down the slide. I read stories. We drew pictures. Noah crawled into my lap and fell asleep there, drooling on my sleeve. It was perfect. It was ordinary. It felt like breathing again. Lily told me about her preschool, her new bicycle, how she'd lost a shoe during recess, and everyone had laughed, even her teacher. Noah babbled nonsense words with the confidence of a king. They were still mine. Even after everything, they still knew me. When Adrian returned for pickup, Lily ran to him. Daddy, Grandma's not sick now. She's better. Adrian glanced at me over her head. His voice was quiet, almost ashamed. Thank you, he said. Not loudly, not confidently. But he said it. It was a start. 4 months later, Rosa submitted her reports to the court. Every visit was described the same way. Appropriate, loving, respectful. Child-centered. Lauren hated that. She had been certain I would slip, make a comment, break a rule, do something she could use against me. But I didn't. I wasn't fighting her. I was fighting for Lily and Noah. After 4 months of spotless reports, The judge removed the supervisor requirement. After 7 months, the court granted me *** monthly overnight visits, ***. So I moved. Not back to Phoenix. Not into another hotel. I rented a small 2-bedroom apartment near the beach. A place where my grandchildren could laugh, play, and feel safe. Lily's room was decorated with seashells and a soft pink blanket she immediately claimed as her snuggle cloud. Noah's room had boats and a mobile that spun slowly above his crib. They called it *** Grandma's house, ***. The first night they stayed with me, Lily climbed into my lap after dinner and said, "I like it here. Nobody gets mad." I held her tighter. Meanwhile, in Adrian and Lauren's home, the court-ordered family counseling sessions were not kind to Lauren. She hated being questioned, hated being told no, hated that Adrian had to speak for himself. In one session, when the therapist gently asked Adrian if he felt isolated from old friends, he froze. Then, for the first time, he told the truth. "I haven't talked to anyone from my life before, Lauren," he said. Lauren stiffened. "And why is that?" the therapist asked. Adrian swallowed. "Because whenever I tried, Lauren would say they didn't support our marriage, that they were bad influences." Lauren shot to her feet. "That is not what happened." But the therapist didn't look convinced. He wrote something in his notebook. Significant patterns of separation and dependency. Little cracks formed. Then bigger ones. By spring, their marriage was unraveling in slow motion. Small arguments became long silences. Long silences became explosions. Lauren accused Adrian of choosing his mother. Adrian accused her of cutting off everyone in his life. And for the first time, he wasn't just repeating her words. He was speaking his own. ******* Adrian's return, ****. He started staying a little longer during drop-offs. First 10 minutes, then 30, then dinner. Sometimes he helped Lily build castle towers. Sometimes he sat at my small kitchen table and talked quietly about nothing. Work, the weather, childhood memories he'd forgotten he still had. One night, after the kids were asleep, he said, "I didn't see it happening. Lauren told me she was protecting me. From you, from my friends, from everyone. And I believed it. Because believing her was easier than thinking everything in my life was wrong." I reached across the table and took his hand. "Adrian," I said softly, "you can find yourself again." He nodded slowly. 2 months later, he filed for *** divorce, ***. Lauren fought dirty. She used the same lies, the same manipulation, the same intimidation tactics she tried on me. But the court already knew her pattern. The therapists had documented it. My case had revealed it. For once, her tricks didn't work. Adrian was granted *** primary custody ***. Lauren was given *** supervised visits ***. The same thing she had tried to force on me. Life has a strange sense of symmetry. ###***, a new family ***. My life changed completely. Weekly visits with Lily and Noah became normal. Lily drew pictures of seashells and sunshine and labeled them *** Grandma's house. ***. Noah learned new words every week. His first full sentence was *** Gamma, I love you. ***. Adrian joined a local soccer league again. He went to therapy. He reconnected with old friends. He played music in the evenings, like he used to. He was becoming himself again. Not Lauren's version of him. Not my version either. Just ***Adrian ***. On Lily's 5th birthday, we had a small celebration at my apartment. Lily blew out candles. Noah smeared frosting on the table. And Adrian laughed for the first time in years. As I watched them, I realized something. I hadn't just won visitation. I hadn't just won a court case. I had won my son back, piece by piece, moment by moment, love by love. Lauren eventually moved across the country with her bitterness and her stories. She sends emails sometimes, blaming everyone except herself. I don't hate her. I don't wish her pain. I simply wish her clarity. But her battles are not mine. My battle is over. And I won. When everything finally settled, the court hearings, the supervised visits, the counseling sessions, the divorce, I found myself sitting on my balcony one quiet evening. Lily and Noah were asleep inside, curled under soft blankets, breathing softly in the safety of my home. Adrian had just left after dinner, his shoulders no longer tight with fear or exhaustion. He was rebuilding his confidence, his identity, his sense of peace. And for the first time in years, our family wasn't breaking. It was healing. Piece by fragile piece, I leaned back in my chair and listened to the ocean waves rolling against the shore. The same ocean that had felt cold and lonely when I first came to this city now sounded like a lullaby, a reminder I had survived. Not because I was fearless, not because I was perfect, but because I refused to disappear. I fought for my grandchildren. I fought for my son. I fought for myself. I fought because real love does not fold when someone slams a door in your face. It waits. It tries again. It learns new ways to stand. ###****. Here's what life taught me through all of this. *********. Love doesn't quit. *******. Even when your own child pushes you away. Even when someone else rewrites your memories, twists your words, or tries to erase your place in the world, love keeps knocking. And eventually, someone hears it. Silence is the enemy of truth. Controllers thrive when you stay quiet. When you doubt yourself, when you hide your pain, but the moment you speak, to a lawyer, to a friend, to a support group, the power shifts. If someone isolates you, they are not protecting anything. They are controlling everything. That is not love. That is not family. That is a caged dressed as concern. And finally, grandparents do have rights. Maybe not everywhere. Maybe not easily. But we are not invisible. We are not disposable. We are not side characters in our grandchildren's lives. Our love matters. Our voice matters. Our presence matters. ###***. To anyone listening to my story. What would you have done in my place? Would you have turned around at the doorstep when your own child said, who invited you? Would you have walked away after months of silence? Or would you have stood up, just like I did, for the children who still whispered your name through the distance? Tell me in the comments. I want to know your stories too. Share this with someone who needs strength today. A grandmother cut off from her grandkids. A parent drowning in manipulation. Anyone who has ever been told they no longer matter. Because here is the truth. Family is not about power. It is about presence. It is about who stays, who fights, who refuses to let love fade. Thank you for sitting with me, for listening to every chapter of my journey. Never, ever give up on the people you love. Never.